Hey YouTube, how you doing? My name's Loopio, you can call me Ren. Yeah, I filmed the second episode of the Minecraft series, and it turned out horribly. Not because of anything, we did wrong. It was mostly, pain. So much pain that, me and Tremor, ended up not talking for like 20-minute stretches at a time. We were focusing so hard. So this is a really edited down version of that. It's not going to be like an official episode 2. It's going to be like a 1.5. Episode 2 will be out soon. As of this recording, we are planning to record that today. It will be out soon, I promise. So yeah, enjoy this little narrated, super edited down episode 1.5. Yeah. See you in the video. We started off doing the intro for the video, excited to finally find and defeat the Goblin King. Last episode you saw us wipe out the Goblin King's army and made him retreat into the bowels of the earth. Tremor informed me the last place that he saw him was behind the castle, so we decided to go look. Unfortunately, I suffer from ADHD, so this mysterious cloaked figure caught my attention. Thinking perhaps he might be some sort of hostile creature, I approached him carefully. Realizing he may not be a threat, I attempted to interact with him. And he had nothing he wanted to say to me. And after that, I unfortunately ran into this vampire. I quickly retreated into this cave system for shelter. And yeah, it didn't go well. Again, I got distracted by the silhouette of what I thought was a villager. It turns out it was a mini-boss, and wanting to collect the reward for killing him, I dug down into the walls. It was at this time I learned that when in combat mode, the enemy has to be directly in front of you in order to do damage. Once he finally saw me, we exchanged some blows. His hit way harder than mine. I returned, and after some time, I took him down. And the reward for killing him was simply a spoon. Realizing that I would eventually need more armor, I decided to cook up some iron and drop my more important items off in this chest, just in time for my friend Tremor to get murdered by a zombie. After a while of searching for the Goblin King, I decided to look underground for him. When all of a sudden, this mushroom guy attacked me. Luckily, with the combined forces of me and Tremor, we were able to take him down. And I ventured back into my hole. Eventually, I stumbled onto a cave system. and while looking around, Tremor found us mob spawner. We discovered it was spawning husks, though I'm not really sure why there wasn't any around. But I decided to break it, just in case any decided to spawn, and got a nice reward for it. Once again, Tremor called me over as he had discovered something interesting. He discovered a tower with a boss standing on top of it, though we didn't know it was a boss yet. I would discover that later in the video. He had also discovered quite the impressive cave. He then revealed to me that he hadn't made any tools from the last episode. So I threw him some wood so he could make the basics. Then we discovered this new type of enemy. We named him the Brain Sucker, and he's quite annoying because he can freeze you in place like this. He then attaches himself to you and drains your health.
Once Ren respawned, he noticed a green orb looming above him, as if it was the Goblin King was taunting us. He decided to jump down and investigate it. And was immediately greeted with every mob in the spawning pool. He survived all the mobs, but not my blade.
After that, I decided to look in the caves again for the Goblin King, and we found some goblins running around down there, leading us to believe that he was in fact underground. While searching for him, we got distracted by a boss deep in the underground. We decided to go check it out, discovering a massive dungeon. So, we decided to try our hand at fighting it. After some strategizing, I decided to channel my inner mole and attack her feet rather than attack her directly. Then she promptly set me on fire. After some more strategizing, I decided to say, nah, screw it, I'm gonna go punch her in the face. And that seemed to knock her out of her invincibility state, and then I ran like a child. Got poisoned, and then this husk showed up. Poor Tremor got set on fire and poisoned at the same time. Needless to say, we were a little bit outmatched. Eventually, I was able to get some hits in on her, but she kept chugging healing potions. After my death, I discovered I can recraft my greatsword, but this time I got an upgrade. After going back down, I killed that husk that walked in on me last time, and received a pretty nice bow for killing him. This comes in great handy for the rest of the playthrough. Then, Tremor reveals to me he has a golden apple, and at that moment, our plan goes into effect for me to make some armor and start going to town on the witch with a little. Aha, you fool. You thought there was a plan to go to town on the witch? There was in fact no plan at all. I am simply a stupid man who never actually ate the golden apple for some reason. I'm really not sure why. I actually decided to hide in his corner and continue to eat bread while being poisoned for a while. After which, I whacked her with my sword while not in combat mode, which does pretty much 0 damage. Granted, I can't really do any damage to her right now for some reason anyway. It's great. And then, this Husk decides to join the party again after he reincarnated and came back for revenge, setting me on fire and killing me. After my disappointing death, I decide to climb what I've called the Tower of Doom. It actually had a boss on top of it, so I decided, instead of getting murdered by a witch over and over again, I might try something different. How hard could it be, right? It's just a small tower, not like an entire dungeon. Well, unfortunately, a spider jockey spawned. Now you might be thinking, just hit it off. Yeah, I tried, ran out of stamina, and used my life points to keep swinging. Then ground pounded me, and I died. While trying to find my way back in rage, I found another cave, got lost, and ran into a cave spider. So that was fun. It poisoned me and chased me all the way down the cave. I bet you can guess how this one ended up. If you said I died, you were right. And somehow, the witch from the first dungeon spawned in the castle we were taking hold in. She was setting the place on fire, so I finally decided to use that golden apple Tremor gave me. I just kept swinging until she died. Unfortunately, Tremor continued to get in the way of my blade, and I cut him down several times. But at this point, I didn't care. I just swung and swung and swung until that witch's blood stained the floor of that castle. And eventually, we achieved victory. You might think, hey, they should go back down into that cave and check out the dungeon. No, instead I stood around looking at the witch hat I got for killing her. I went back down into the cave to try and find said dungeon and found a completely new one. And because I have ADHD, I decided it would be an amazing idea to continue to look through this new dungeon instead of collect the rewards from the old one. I honestly am not sure what my brain was thinking. I can't comprehend why I would make such a dumb decision. Mostly because I remember not being able to find it, but now that I look back on it, it was really simple to just walk the other way. But no, I continued to fight these husks for about the next hour, I'd say. You're only gonna see a few clips from this, but it was a really long time. I completely forgot about the other dungeon. After some searching, I finally found a piece of paper that we could give to the head villager in the village to tell us where the pillager camp was, and then I murdered this guy with a big stick. After a really long time fighting through this dungeon and dying a lot, I mean a lot, I finally decide to run through the whole thing very speedily, but my greediness got a hold of me, I opened that chest, and a fully decked out skeleton with a sword with my name on it came barreling out of it. And as he came around the corner, I took aim. He dropped his shield at the perfect time, and I was able to get 2 shots off on him. Both arrows that I had were gone, and so it was up to me and my trusty sword to fight him off. I only had 4 hearts, and every hit he did 2 hearts, which means I could only survive 1 hit left. Surprisingly, I survived with half a heart, and with a final swing, I took him down, and in the chest, I got literal junk. Are you kidding me? After some frustration, I decided to go give the piece of paper to the villager. After which, I received a map, with a small little X on it. Looking down at the map, I realized I had no idea where that was. And this triggered what I like to call the Lord of the Rings simulator, but in Minecraft, because there was a lot, and I mean a lot of walking involved in this. I had to actually walk around this entire mountain until I came across a village with another boss bar. Like, seriously, can I not have a break around here, people? Realizing that I would probably have to eventually encounter this boss at some point, I decided to climb the mountain, because it's better than walking around it, and I might get some content if I get murdered by a vicious boss. I never did end up finding that boss, but what I did find is that dang dragon from the first episode. Having a PTSD attack, I backed away and kept my distance because I was not getting set on fire again. Fortunately, it looked like I was getting close to where my objective was, but the dragon was guarding it. And once I was sure the dragon was gone, I approached cautiously. And I found the pillager camp, where they were holding some villagers captive. So, as revenge, I murdered their chickens. After fighting some of the pillagers off for a while, Tremor finally showed up to help me. He had stayed home in order to make us backpacks to carry our stuff with. And unfortunately, when you have 2 backpacks on, you walk really, really slowly, especially when they're both full. So, he threw me my backpack, and I put it on. Getting ready for the battle ahead, we decided to cook some food and place down a bed for a spawn point, so that way none of us would have to re-walk all the way around the mountain to come back. After killing a few more pillagers, I decided it would be a good idea to actually release the villagers from their cage. And I figured I'd save this little bird too. And we just kept hacking and hacking away at pillagers until both of us completed the quest. Eventually, I learned that I could pick these arrows up off the ground. And then a freaking Rat King spawned. I don't even know if the Rat King is what that thing's name is. I was so annoyed at this point that I died. I was just so over it. And then all the rats got stuck in these chairs. And did I feel any pity when cutting them down? Absolutely not, because this one bit my foot and I died again. a raid started because there was a place for the villagers to sleep when we put down a bed. And because we were killing pillagers, we had the bad omen. After fighting off the raid for a while, we had finally killed off the last of them. And we decided to head back to the village. And out of pure hatred, I tamed this horse because I was not gonna walk all the way back. I almost got. Eventually, I made it back to the village. I got off my horse and I did the outro. The pain in my voice was immeasurable. And honestly, we completed pretty much nothing. We didn't get any loot from any of the dungeons we went through. We barely got a reward for completing the quest of freeing the villagers. And it was a full 3-hour recording session. But remember, it's the journey that matters, not what you gain from it. I'm Luopio, but you can call me Ren. Thanks for watching YouTube. Spread some joy. I love you, and I'll see you in the next one.